Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we'll check in with our Metropolitan Planning Organization. On today's show, our guest is Tony Filippini, Transportation Planner for the Ames Area Metropolitan Planning Organization. That is really a mouthful, Tony. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the AAMPO, which is the acronym for it, and a little bit about how you joined.
Well, the Ames Area MPO is a regional transportation planning agency for this Ames City, as well as Gilbert, and the region of Story County and Boone County that are part of that as well. I got involved through I did the urban planning program at Iowa State University, and out of college, actually started an MPO down in Texas for a couple of years. So just really been involved and interested in transportation and continuing that enhancement in the community as well.
So you're an Iowa State graduate.
I am.
So it's good to be back at Cyclone Country.
Yes.
And transportation planning is interesting because a lot of people think vehicles, but it's much bigger than that.
Yeah, there's a lot of focus to expand. We've done a very good job making sure that cars can travel as well as they possibly can. And there's a sort of a new movement, sort of going back to more traditional sense of incorporating all sorts of modes so that it's very equitable, as well as it's also very efficient to have a lot of different opportunities in different ways, and you can also move more people than just relying on single modes. So there's a lot of emphasis too now, especially on bicycle planning, as well as transit and enhancing the great transit services that are already available in Central Iowa. As well as this plan will also focus in the region as well on other parts such as freight, rail transportation, as well as air transportation as well.
So you mentioned the great transportation that we have here. Obviously, public transit within Ames, very popular with our SkyRide public transit system. I love the words. We have our intermodal facility, but we also talk about being a multimodal community. Kind of buzzwords, but maybe you can talk a little bit about the idea of multimodal, which you kind of did.
So multimodal is the idea that there's more ways to transport than just a single mode. So instead of assuming that every trip is going to be made using a car, you can sort of break out, depending on all the different things we know about the people that live in the Ames region, as well as how people have historically rode. And some new technologies and new advancements in transportation planning will allow us, with this upcoming plan, to actually anticipate some of the different ways that people will move. So our models are a little better at predicting there may be a little less vehicular traffic and a little more bus traffic in some certain areas. And it will really help be a bit more accurate and make sure that investments are done in a more realistic sense.
So you mentioned the plan. So the big project that you have working right now is the long-range transportation plan, sort of a big picture 25-year look at transportation in Ames and the surrounding areas. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about this. Is a big undertaking.
It really is. So regional, or all MPOs actually in the United States, are required to do a long-range comprehensive transportation plan every 5 years. And so we're coming to the conclusion of our 2010 plan. And so this plan will be adopted in the fall of 2015, about 18 months from when we started and about 14 months from now. And these plans are to look at the entire network, to prioritize the investments that we're going to be making. Big part of these plans are the financial packages, and to make sure that they're fiscally constrained, so that the things that we do plan and prioritize are realistic and are things that can be built and be reasonably constructed, financed, and maintained throughout the years.
So in forming this plan, you obviously want a lot of public input, and I cannot think of very few other projects that really touch every single citizen. Even if you don't even drive a car, you walk on the sidewalks, you bike, you maybe take public transit. Mm. Again, all those modals, the different multimodal forms of transportation that people take. So how important is public input to this process?
It's very important, and I'm very excited for this process. We're going to do a couple of new things to try to capitalize on how much technology has advanced in the last couple of years, and to bring in as many people into this process as possible. You're right, it really does reflect and incorporate every sort of user in the system, whether they live here or just come here a couple times a year. So what we're going to be doing is, along with some more traditional public outreach and going out to the community, as well as hosting some public meetings, we're also going to be doing a couple things on our website. We have a new project page that we've just launched at amesmobility2040.com.
So brand new website, amesmobility2040.com. Fun website. People should all go to it.
Yeah, so not only is it going to be a clearinghouse of all the sort of reports and memos that will be coming out, but there's also a couple of different features that will include getting input from the public, that you can use sort of a Google map and put comments, draw lines on it, and submit comments that way. We're also doing a newer thing that I'm not sure that the Ames area has got to play with quite yet, called Mind Mixer. It's used in a few communities. And we're kind of using that as our virtual town hall. So throughout the project, we'll be putting up different topics for comment, where people can sign in and discuss different ideas and really have a community-driven list of priorities and topics and projects from that way as well.
So, as you know, we have a City of Ames Facebook page, and that page gets pretty excited when we put traffic information out there. Through the Mind Mixer program, this is a kind of a venue, a forum for people to maybe discuss more of their transportation concerns or ideas.
Yeah, I like to think of it sort of like a Facebook, where we curate some topics and really get into a more community discussion that's maybe a little bit gives people some chance to be a little more open and to really get into some topics where it might be very uninteresting on Facebook to really get into a discussion about a bicycle lane perhaps, or a roundabout. So it should be a really good place for that.
Well, and also, I'm not as familiar with Mind Mixer as you are probably. Is it moderated? Because sometimes Facebook can take an awful turn.
Right. So one of the great things about Mind Mixer as well is we'll have a number of staff that will not only be sort of moderating, but will also be listening. So we think this will be a really important venue so that people feel that not only are they putting things on the site and they're discussing it with others, but that the staff and as well as some of the policymakers as well will be listening, following the conversation, and getting involved with it as well.
So this is a great option. So much of our traditional way of gathering public input has been come to our meeting, talk to us. And in today's day and age, that just isn't a reality for a lot of people. I love this digital interaction, capturing those comments, those thoughts of people who maybe don't have time or the desire to attend a long meeting.
Right, there's a lot of different parts of the Ames community. We think that this will be something that will really resonate with a large portion of the Ames community. And it's so easy to access. Not only can you do it on a desktop, but you can do it on a smartphone. It's designed for that as well. So when you're taking the bus or just over lunch, it's something that you can easily plug into.
So again, you want to go to amesmobility2040.com. That's the website. Get that great information. You can sign up for notices. You are planning the traditional public meetings for those people who'd like to attend.
Right. A
calendar of events. Really a great website, a great tool to get the process started, to share your thoughts.
Right.
So we're going to have some traditional public meetings, not scheduled yet. Where do people go for that information?
Right, so we're going to be releasing that information through a number of different ways, through the City of Ames website, through press releases, as well through our social media outlets with Facebook and Twitter. And then also on our website, once you get to it, you can also sign up to get updates as well.
Again, you can look at the amesmobility2040.com website. We have other updates as well on cityofames.org and the city's Facebook and Twitter page, another great source for information. Tony, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
So if you want more information about the Ames Area Long Range Transportation Plan, again, those websites are amesmobility2040.com or cityofames.org. Always a good place for information at any time of the year. And speaking of times of the year, you might want to remember that Halloween this year is on Friday, October 31st. That is the day recommended for trick-or-treating, hours from 5:30 to 7:30. We also have yard waste free days coming up in October and November, and you'll want to check our website for more information on those as well. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.